Hi everyone, Diana Rankin here with messages and a few predictions and some good news to tell you, but also some things that we need to look at, but I'd rather not, but we will. This is for February 2018, and we are going to get to a message from Philip later, but I want to tell you the really good news or the exciting news that I'm really excited about. My latest book, The Found Child, is now actually in print form. So many of you, it was out as an ebook and will be put back out as an ebook. It has a new publisher. And so the print book is here. It wasn't here before. And this is, it's an interesting book. It just starts out by saying, we're not sure if this is fiction or true, so you'll have to read it. It is available on Amazon. It is also available through my website. Just go to books, click on books, and then you can click on the Found Child. It's a story that will tell you what happens. It's a fiction. It's told in a novel form, but you're not sure if it's true or not when you're reading it. Is it really fiction or is this nonfiction? You may wonder that while you're reading it. It's a story told through the eyes of the main character, Diana, who goes on this, imagine that. I know someone with that name. But she goes on this journey through other worlds. And she meets this little boy at the end of her lane named Davy. And Davy's a very unusual little boy. And he introduces her to other worlds where they meet Philip, the guide who takes them into these other dimensions. And through the book, we learn what happens before we come into life, what happens once we come into life, and what happens after we leave this life. So it's a great book. Be sure and get your copy. Thank you. It has good reviews, so I'm very, very pleased with it. All right, that said, I want to tell you how important laughter is going to be this month. February and March are kind of like the beginning of the wound has opened. Now, you've heard me talk about how if we heal a wound like this, that we've got a lot of earthquakes in there. So this wound has had to come open so we can heal it like this. The problem is, while it's open, it's full of pus. And so the pus is coming out. And that's what's happening in my country here in the U.S. The pus is coming out. So that said, with all this pus coming out, it's going to be a difficult time. So that's why it's going to be so important to bring laughter into our world and to bring love. You know, I'm asking every one of you to hold our world in divine love, in divine light. Instead of getting angry, work through that anger, work through that fear, and return to a place of love. If you're angry with someone, it's not about stuffing it, it's not about hiding it, it's about returning, it's about working through it and then returning to that place. And it begins with loving ourselves, really loving ourselves. It is very easy to get caught in the anger with our politicians. Instead, we need to hold them accountable. We need to recognize what has taken place. We need to understand that the current administration, the president, I'm not sure, we seem to be living in a reality TV show, and of course that's his background. He does have a background in business, although I don't know too many business people, good business people, who have filed bankruptcy half a dozen times, so I do not consider him a good business person. I consider him a bully, and I also consider him a very wounded child. And wounded children, regardless of their age, do not understand how they are wounding others and hurting others. And it has come out now, you've heard me say before, that when there's a leader of a country or a person in a position of leadership in a country, that if that person is not getting the public behind them, that they will create, that the thing that gets the public behind them is to create a war. And now we're hearing that is coming out. There was a report on PBS that the current administration, our current president, is saying, well, I want to bring the country together, and hopefully we can do that without a war. My words, not his. He's saying he wants to bring the country together, but his language, his actions is doing just the opposite. It's creating more divisiveness in the country. So we're in very dangerous times. Please do not go into the fear of that, because that only creates and makes it worse. So what we have to do when we are in these dangerous times is we certainly have to recognize what's going on. We have to recognize the danger, and we have to act against it, but act from a place of love. What do I mean by acting from a place of love? Holding the world in loving light, for one thing. That's one thing we can do. Just visualize the light, the divine light, the light of the God circling our planet, saying prayers for those in leadership, instead of yelling at the leaders. Support those you do believe in. Support those who can help others. And in your own life, I ask you to do two things. One, be kind to yourself and others. And two, laugh this month. Even if you're just laughing at the absurdity of it all. It is going to be so important to add laughter. Laughter is love. Unless we don't want to... I'm not saying laugh at something that is not funny. And I don't think putting down other people is funny. So I'm talking about all of the things, the reasons there are to laugh. And if there isn't a reason, then you just start laughing. And here we go. There you go. Go watch it. Listen to this one again where I laugh. In fact, I think I may even have made a video a while back about let's just laugh. Watch videos of Daisy. And by the way, Daisy was sitting right here beside me, and we were all ready to turn the camera on. And then one of the cats started crying outside the door, and Daisy said, I have to go take care of her. And so Sophia needed Daisy out with her. I used to allow the cats in my office, but I've stopped doing that because I don't get anything done with the cats. So, because they love to sit on the computer board and play, so they get plenty of attention. So I'm sorry Daisy isn't with you today. She is. She's just a little further away than usual. Okay. I want to say this is a month to hold dear ones close. Laugh with them, love with them, find those sweet, sweet moments with your loved ones. Let go of those who no longer belong in your life. It's time. That's not always easy, but it's time. You must. It's going to be a month where we see words, rocks, bullets thrown at each other. Do not be the one throwing the words or the rocks, and certainly not the bullets. It does look like there's going to be an attempt on a Democratic congressman who is speaking out against the policies of the White House. He will not be harmed. The assassination attempt or the shooting attempt will be stopped. No bullets will fly there. But we're in dangerous times right now. And we have an administration here in the U.S. that is discrediting the FBI, the Department of Justice, the CIA, legitimate news sources, legitimate news reporters. And when we have a president or the person in the leading role of the country discrediting all of that, we're in very dangerous times. And we have a lot of people who aren't able to understand what's going on or have the time or the inclination. Back in the 60s, we had the Civil War movement. Then we had the anti-Vietnam War movement. And then we had the women's movement. I remember, I'm old enough, I was part of that. And what I want to tell you is I've never felt the kind of anger that we have in our world today. There was anger, but nothing like we're experiencing today. The last time there was this much anger in the U.S. was the time of the Civil War. I'm really hoping we can avoid that, and I think we can. I really think we can, in part because I want to avoid a civil war in this country. But I will tell you, it's getting more and more divisive. We will see more and more of that division this month, and we will see foreign countries, those of you who come from other countries, we will see your countries and the leadership of your countries take sides of what's going on in the U.S. Let's see what Philip has to say, shall we? For those of you who are new to my channel or my videos, thank you so much for coming. And for those of you who come back, thank you so much. This afternoon, I am going to get to those comments. I do get a bit behind, and then I read them, but I just don't always have time to respond. So I'm going to get to them this afternoon, and I thank you so much. You inspire me, because believe me, this is not easy for me. It would be much easier to just go write my books, go work with private clients. By the way, if you would like a private reading, I will put I do have my website is below, and I will put the Amazon, where you can just click. You can just click on it. So I will put that below for the Found Child as well. So this is Philip. This is my spirit guide. Every page has a different answer. And so we just flip through and we think left or right. And I am hearing from some of you that every time you get it right, or you get it correct, you know if we're going to do left or right. So here we go. We're just going to flip through and see when the finger says stop, and there we go. I'm hearing a mixture of left and right, but I'm going to go with left, but right seems really important as well. Okay. Well, I think they are both important as I look at them. And imagine this, they're what we've been talking about. A sailboat does not drift aimlessly in the wind, but instead uses the wind to follow the course set by the helmsman. A sailboat does not drift aimlessly in the wind, but instead uses the wind to follow the course set by the helmsman. When I lived in California, I used to sail the Pacific Ocean. I had a 28-foot ketch, wooden ketch, by the name of Diana T-O-O. And I can tell you that that boat wasn't going to go where I wanted it to unless I steered it properly. So we have to steer our lives. And in order to steer our lives properly, in order to get our world to move into that place of love, we have to steer our lives in that way. You heard me talk a lot last year about how, we have this divisive country right now. We have this division in the world, and it's the feminine and the masculine. But you heard me, if you listen to I think it was the year-long 2018 where I said, and it may have been January, forgive me, I'm not sure myself, but where I said it's not just that masculine and feminine that's butting up. The Me Too movement is proof of that masculine and feminine butting heads. But now, excuse me, we've taken this to a bigger level, to a higher level, and now it's like the spiritual and the human. Our spiritual natures and our human natures are trying to do this, but they're still doing this. They're still not there. And that's because we still have that wound open. And so we need to come together. Now I want to tell you what's on the right page because it goes right along with the left page. Simply 3 words. Life is thought. Life is thought. Oh, my friends, this month, laughter, laughter, laughter. Stay in the laughter. When there's anger, bring it back to the laughter. Work it through. Don't stuff it. This isn't about stuffing. This is about working it through. And, you know, it's like when a driver cuts you off, instead of getting angry and upset about it, take a breath and then just start laughing. When somebody does something that angers you, just start laughing. When you move into fear, just start laughing. It is the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways, out of that fear and into a place of love. Do that for your own state of mind. Do that for your own body. And do that for the world. I love you, my friends. I thank you for being with me today and for coming back again and again. And for telling your friends. Let's get the word out. Not an easy month, which is so important that we stay in laughter, in light, that we add love, first of all, to our own lives, then to the next person beside us, and the next and the next and the next. Thank you. I love you. I love you. And I thank you for receiving that love. And I thank you for loving me. It feels great. Until we meet again.